6.
Thanks, Ceann Comhairle. Minister, this question relates to the Mother and Baby Home Commission of Investigation. You're on record earlier this year saying that the Commission would have the power to order exhumations where appropriate, I think is what you said, but there's nothing really in the terms of reference which says they actually will conduct them. So I'm wondering whether the Commission will be ordering exhumations, and if not, maybe why not? Do the families of the people buried there not deserve to know whether they'll finally get a chance to say with certainty that the remains were there or not, and what your thoughts are on that?
Thank you. Minister number 6.
Well, thank the Deputy for her question. The Commission of Investigations Act 2004 provides an effective, prompt and transparent mechanism to investigate complex and sensitive matters while also respecting fair procedures and natural justice. The 2004 Act gives the Commission robust powers to conduct investigations within its terms of reference in the manner it considers appropriate while adhering to the rules and procedures contained within the Act. While the terms of reference which are attached to the Commission of Investigation, Mother and Baby Homes and Certain Related Matters Order 2015 provide for a comprehensive investigative framework, the Commission is independent in the performance of its investigations and in deciding how best to approach its work. The reports of mass graves in Tuam rightly gave rise to significant public concern. The Commission's terms of reference provide for an examination of mortality amongst mothers and children residing in mother and baby homes and certain other institutions over the period 1922 to 1998. The terms of reference also require the Commission to investigate post-mortem practices and procedures in respect of the mothers and children who died while resident in these institutions, including the reporting of deaths and burial arrangements. Although the legislation does not confer specific powers to order exhumations, it is ultimately a matter for the Commission to consider whether it requires exhumations or excavations of graves. The Commission will be required to comply with the regulations and procedures in place in relation to the conduct of exhumations.
Thank you, Minister.
Clearly it would be, because I have 24 seconds left, clearly it would be wrong of us to dictate to the Commission as to how they would carry out their work. If they feel it's necessary, the powers are there for them to so do. And, you know, I have met different groups, some of whom would wish for the remains to be respected and not disturbed, others who would like to see exhumations take place. I have to leave that to the wisdom of the Commission.
Thank you. Deputy Clare Daly.
Yeah, I suppose there's certain logic in what the Minister says. The basis for the question really was on behalf of a resident whose two brothers were in Tuam, and she's trying to get as much information as possible about what happened to them. She can't know for sure whether they're buried there or not. She is one of the people who wants the graves exhumed, who wants DNA testing, and who wants to bury her brothers if they are there. And I appreciate the fact that different people have different views, and that the Commission is being given the power to make its own decisions. But it has to make those decisions based on the terms and reference laid down. And I'm wondering, therefore, on that basis, it's slightly related to the points that the Minister made, that in terms of the investigation and the information that they're seeking in terms of potential criminal investigations afterwards, I mean, Article 19 of the Commission of Investigations Act would seem to suggest that any information gathered as part of the Commission could not be used in criminal proceedings. But I know the Minister is on record as saying that the Commission could pass on evidence that it had. There seems to be a contradiction there between the two, and if the Minister could clarify that very much within the bounds that obviously there's an independence, but that independence is rooted in the inquiry itself.
Well, can I say firstly that I absolutely respect the feelings of the individual that you referred to in relation to her two brothers. The terms of reference laid down for the Commission of Investigation allow them order exhumations if that is what they decide is appropriate in certain instances. And I believe that's only right and proper. But again, I certainly do not wish to prejudge what the Commission may find. It is my understanding, notwithstanding Article 19, that the Commission, that information will be available for people to act upon. if there's criminal proceedings arising out of it. And that's where it sits. If there's further information that I can furnish to you, I'll so do.
Thank you. Deputy Daly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think everybody would welcome the independence of the Commission. I have to say I was impressed by the manner in which the Minister set it up. I'm glad that it places emphasis on the historical context of what went on at the time, but I think within that we have to be very careful that that's not used as an excuse, because I think that, you know, neglecting and abusing children and leaving their emaciated bodies in shoeboxes or unmarked graves, I can't think, no matter what the historical context was, that that was ever deemed to be acceptable by anybody. And therefore the relatives and indeed the victims themselves have a right to have their history and their remains treated respectfully. But I'm glad that the Commission can decide on that and that the Minister is saying that clearly. I am a little bit still unclear as to the criminal investigations bit, because the article which set up the investigation does seem to suggest that information gathered couldn't be used in a criminal proceeding, and if that meant there was to be a duplication afterwards, I think that would be a little bit ridiculous, because most of the victims do want to see criminal prosecutions at the end of this as part of the bigger picture.
Minister.
Yeah. Well, again, the Commission, as I say, has enormous powers, and that's only proper and right. And I welcome your support for the social history element of this, because context is important, but equally it's important that people have an opportunity to tell their story. And many of the stories I have heard were particularly harrowing. Equally, it's important that they have the right to tell those stories in public or to tell their story in private and in confidence. And that would be respected by the Commission accordingly. In relation to the Commission's work, and they will proceed in tandem with both lines of work, the history being very important in this regard. And the point I would like to make is that this is a social history that will be like no other. It'll be the first time that a history has been collected with the power of a Commission to compel witnesses and documents supporting it. So they will not be depending upon the good offices or goodwill of people. They will have the power of the law and the Commission behind them.
Thank you.